How about Bella Fauntleroy, y'all?
How about Sarah
How about Bella, y'all?
Andrews?
Well, let's talk about both of you, but talk about what changed in the second half for you guys tonight.
Honestly, Coach Nicki came in the locker room, and we talk about all the time our pace. When we play with pace, that's whenever we run up the score and get a lot of open looks, because when we do play with pace, then people try to get with us in transition, and then we're able to pull it out and eventually get into our offensive sets and just kind of get those looks. But we're a really good team whenever we're going fast and downhill. That, and also, we just wanted to have fun. The first half, I don't know if we were tense or what it was, but the second half, you saw us getting out there smiling, making those extra passes, and just having a good time while playing Baylor basketball.
Sarah, great crowd. What was that atmosphere like, and how did it compare with what you had at Farrell?
The crowd was good. I think, if we can get that every night, we fed off of them, especially going into that second half. They brought a different type of energy that I've never experienced since I've been at Baylor, and I think, we need that at every home game because it's going to be a fun season.
Hey guys, beating a team like Texas and then beating a team like TCU, these back-to-back wins, do you feel that this elevates the team even more?
Absolutely. We talk about playing for each other and taking it one game at a time. And tonight we came out on top. It was a really fun game. And we're just going to take that energy, like we said, and learn from what mistakes we did have, and just keep building and keep going.
Bo, last year, I feel like you were in the backcourt a lot with Dariana. It was kind of a two-headed dragon there. This season, obviously, you're playing the guard and you're flourishing. What was that process like for you transitioning from playing more in the paint as a forward into a guard?
There was a lot of hard work this summer. I will say, definitely my other guard upperclassmen took me under their wing. I learned a lot from Sarah this summer, just kind of in our guard-forward breakdowns, in our shooting group at whatever time after conditioning in the mornings. Those were some rough mornings. But, just knowing that Coach Nicki needed for me to be able to step out and play that wing spot as well motivated me to just kind of hone in on those skills so that I can do what the team needs.
Sarah, I'm curious a little bit what it was like in the locker room at halftime. Was Coach loud? Was she yelling? Or are you taking charge? What's the vibe like in the locker room after the first half like you had?
I think I've become a little more vocal. I've really, embraced that leadership role. I think, coming out, they hit us first, but we never folded. Basketball is a game of runs, and I think that's what they did in the first half. But we know who we are. We know the work we put in, and at the end of the day, when we came out in the second half, you saw us play Baylor basketball, and, yeah, it worked out for itself.
Bella, obviously a career high in points and three-pointers made. What was working for you, and how comfortable were you finding those soft spots in the zones and things like that?
We talked about, Coach Nicki did come in at halftime too, and she said, there's that soft spot in the middle of the zone. But whenever we went to our 4-out set, that's really whenever we had people cutting, moving. You saw people, we hit the high posts, we had dump downs, back cuts. It's really easy to play with a team that sees the court well and knows how to read each other and where we're going to be. So I was in my spot, and tonight they fell. There's going to be nights where they don't fall, but just know that we're going to be where we need to be.
Jay Fitzgerald, Frogs Today. I know you mentioned energy and playing Baylor basketball in the second half, but do you think that first half may have become, because TCU, it's just a different team, it's a little unknown from what you've seen in the past, and what have you seen from them that it's like a brand new TCU team?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
We knew that they were going to come out, excited to play us. And I think that's what they did in that first half. They came out and they shot out like a rocket. Credit to them. They played really good basketball. They're a really good team this year. Props to them. They're a different team completely, like you said, with a great coach. But, at the end of the day, I think, we did what we were supposed to. We never got rattled. We knew basketball was a game of runs. And in the second half, I think once we got comfortable and we started to play in transition, because that's something we didn't do in the first half, was play in transition, we made them play at our speed. And I think that's when we took control of the game.
Bella, what did Asia bring to this game? She was, I think I saw her jawing a little bit at some of the TCU players. She got some rebounds, and what energy did she bring, and what did she bring to this game overall?
Anyone who knows AB knows that you want her on your team and you don't want to play against her. She's feisty. She just has this energy about her and this presence on the court. Like, you have to respect her, or she'll make you respect her if you don't. But she just came out, was really physical and strong. She had a big role in guarding Sedona as well. But just that energy, she has great interior passing whenever we're against zone offenses, can step out and knock down a 3 too. So, she brings that extra little feistiness, and then, of course, leadership, because she's a fifth year. So,
ladies, thank you.
Thank y'all. Sic'Em.
I mean, I know it's a cliche question. What was the vibe like in the locker room at halftime? What were you fiery? What was it like in the locker room? How did you?
I didn't think. I thought. I said this on the radio, but I don't think, as amazing as today was, opening up a new building, the excitement, the fans, and then playing a really good basketball team. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure to come in here and win on opening day and to give these fans a good show. And so it was really more dialed into, what do we have to do? Like, what are the adjustments? I thought our defense was solid. After a couple possessions where we were a little off to start, I thought our defense was good. We just, we didn't make any interior shots. I think at halftime, between Dre, Asia, Bugs, we were like 2 for 17 or something. Like, we just were struggling to score in the paint against Sedona. And she wasn't blocking our shot, but she was making us shoot it too fast or throw it over our shoulder, and doing a really good job. And we weren't doing a good job of interior passing. So it really was about adjustments. Like, here are the adjustments we need to make defensively, which there were fewer of. But really it was, they did a really good job of, and I didn't know quite what they were going to do, but I assumed they would match to our zone offense. We don't run a crazy bunch of quick hits against zones. It's about spacing and spots on the floor. And, their zone defense is a little different because Sedona just never leaves the charge arc. She doesn't play the high post. She doesn't really play the short corner. So she doesn't play you until you come to her. And so we just weren't very good in the first half. So we basically got 4 out with a screener, and tried to have her guard nobody, quite frankly, and then get the ball downhill and make reads and get them running around and make extra passes. And then we got the ball off the bounce, and now once she has to play you, you can drop off and finish. And I just thought that opened the game. That's simple. Let's get our shooters spread. Let's get a screener in the middle, and then let's attack space and get the ball moving. And I thought it was night and day. And then our defense just got better as the game went along.
Coach, throughout the game, you were feeding off the crowd. You kept telling them to get more hype throughout the game. Can you just talk about how much you and your team fed off the new crowd in the new arena?
Yeah, I told them, when we did starting lineups, and I huddled them right before they went out there. I said, I don't know about you guys, but like, I've dreamed of moments like this. An electric building, just like, wow, like, honestly, like, we're lucky. And so I think when we had a reason for them to cheer, it was a little tough to find moments in that first half, but I thought in the second half, as we started making shots and getting rebounds, I thought Asia was phenomenal on the glass in the second half. Keeping them to one shot, that, we had the ability to feed then off that and to get confidence. And, we just did a good job of, once we got it to double figures, then we got it to 20, and just not relinquishing that pace. And we knew, based on the minutes that their starters play, that if we kept pushing tempo, it was going to pay off for us. And not just tempo in the full court, but tempo in the half court. Attack them, move it, make them keep shifting and moving, because by doing that, we impacted their ability to make shots. Madison Connor has the second most threes in the NCAA this year, and she didn't make one today. And that's big credit to Sarah. Sarah was the main defender on her. I thought she did a phenomenal job. Bella took her a little bit. But I thought Sarah was phenomenal on her, making her play downhill. We wanted them to play 2 by 2 by 2.
You mentioned a little bit about Asia, and I thought this game was kind of a summary of her quality. I just wanted your thoughts on that. Defensively guarding Sedona, but then offensively, you mentioned some of the dump-off passes that she was making on the inside when Sedona would commit. What were your thoughts on just her performance
Yeah,
tonight?
she just, here's the tough part. Asia's a rhythm player. And when you have an injury and you're limited and you've got limited mileage in practice, success for most 18 to 22-year-olds comes with repetition. And there's not many players, there's not many Candace Parkers that can just lace them up and is like such high basketball IQ, such good feel that they can just not practice and show up and compete. And so I thought that even though Asia wasn't making shots in the first half, we needed her to attack downhill. She is by far our best interior passer. The drop pass, the kick out pass. We've got players that make the kick out, but the drop is another skill and playing off too. And she doesn't do it perfect all the time. And I thought Dre dropped one to her that she missed. We just got better at reading that once we created better space. But she's just physical. She doesn't give ground to Sedona. She gave her one shot. She didn't get second chance points against her. I thought she was tough. I just really thought she was tough. And, when you're playing a 6 foot against 6'7", all you can ask is for her to take a shot over the top and give her one shot. And I thought she did a really good job. I thought, even though, once again, she was 3 for 14, she was plus 26. She was a difference maker. For a lot of reasons for us today, and a lot of it was our defense and rebounding.
Yeah, Jay Fitzgerald Frog today. I know tonight the final was very lopsided like most of your games have been so far this year. TCU's a little bit different team this year. You mentioned how good they were. What do you see from them that will make them be a difficult team to handle in the Big 12?
Yeah, I think their pieces fit really, really well together. I think the question mark is depth, but I think when you put a point guard that can create pace and is such a willing passer, it's not hard to figure out. We weren't helping off. We wanted her to drive and score, not drive and pass, because they're at their best when she's getting other people's shots, when she's getting their guards kick out threes and she's getting Sedona roll passes and things like that. We weren't coming. We were not going to help. And I'm not giving away the game plan because it's obvious. It'll be obvious when he watches the film. But when you have a 6'7" player that can step out and shoot it a little bit and is a good passer and a willing passer and can score on the low block, we were scared to death of Emma Nopu getting to the boards. She's phenomenal running to the rim and makes kick-out threes. We didn't want her to get them. And then Madison Connor has just had an unbelievable year. And some of the shots that she makes when she gets heated up, like she just never got heated up. So she never got in that rhythm where she comes off that zoom screening action and fires a three and all you can do is shake your head. And credit to Sarah. We switched a little bit to keep some things changing up on her, but their pieces just fit really well together. I think Roberson's been a nice change of pace off the bench. She gives them length. Has made shots this year and is also a pretty good offensive rebounder. So I think their six is really, really solid, and they fit really, really well together, and they run good stuff. I mean, Mark runs really, really good stuff. He moves you around and, keeps you out of help side, and if you get in help side, they're a really good skip passing team. I have a lot of respect for those individual players as well as them collectively and how well they've played together so far this season.
Coach, last week you talked about, wanting that home court advantage. Seeing the arena for the first time in a game, do you feel that this arena with these fans, this takes Baylor basketball to another level? Yeah,
I'm not afraid to be emotional. It's just kind of who I am. I had tears in my eyes walking out of the tunnel. And a lot of it is because it's what these players deserve. It's never going to be about me at Baylor. It's always going to be about the five on the court and however many we have on the sideline with us. And their heart has to beat together. And when the fans get behind them and give them that edge, it's just a special combination. And so they deserve that. They've put in the work. We're 13-0 because of the work that they've done and their willingness to be unselfish and give up the ball when Bella's hot. Give her the ball and just play to the hot player. And, it was Dre's night against Texas, and it was Bella's night tonight. It was Jada's night against Texas, and it was Sarah's night tonight. And that's, we've said it before, but, it's sometimes you, sometimes me, always us. And I think when you put a crowd behind that, it's pretty special, and these guys just deserve it. They deserve a crowd that when they're a little bit tired, that gives them the energy for one more possession. Like, I kept thinking he was going to call a timeout and we were going to get a blow, but he just didn't call a timeout during the run, and so we just kept running. Oh, Jerry, good job with your shirt today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You didn't want to wear purple? Are you sure?
Yeah, Nicki, you talked about it a little bit, but it just seemed like the bigs were tentative. Like, she only had one block in the first half. What changed for your bigs attacking her in the second half?
The spacing. We usually play short and high post. And we feel like when we get in the high post, good things happen. But in most 2-3 zones, when you get in the high post, the 5 steps up. And she don't step up. You got to go to her. And that just was uncomfortable to us. And so it was almost like we were in tighter space. So those decisions didn't unfold as easily. Once we went 4 out, the decisions were easier. When we would attack, we would see her. We would already be 1-2 dribbles, and we would see the drop-off pass. We would see the drift pass. And so that just changed everything, I thought, for us. It was like, now she's coming. Now we've dropped it. Now she's not going to block it. We were going to her and trying to challenge her without actually challenge. I mean, Asia kept trying, and it didn't work, To her credit, it was like, if at first I don't succeed, try again. And I kept saying, keep trying to drive in there and get an assist. And then when somebody else drives, you can cut, and they can get an assist, because that's what you have to do to her. She does an amazing job of playing when you come to her. But it's hard for her at her size, and it's the same way with Letty. It's hard for her to come and guard one, and on the drop-off pass to turn her entire body and really challenge the drop-off pass. And so, to me, that's where I just gave them more space to work, and played more to our strengths as a team. And I think when Dre picked up her foul, and Asia went in, she gave us another attacker, and I just thought Asia did a really good job, and then ultimately made a couple shots as well to extend things. But they finally went man. We made a couple shots against man, and then they went back zone. And so we just did a good job of creating tempo, not just in the full court, but really in the half court with our pace in the half court. Thank you.